Many people are fearful right now. Is the SEC going to appeal? Can this decision of XRP not being a security actually be reversed or something? And is that why the XRP price is not at the moon yet? What happened? And what's going to happen soon? So of course, guys, in this video, I'll be explaining exactly what's going to be happening to XRP over the next couple of days, months, years, and whether or not you should be worried that the SEC is going to come smack your bottoms. So of course, make sure you press that like button if you're enjoying these daily crypto videos, because oh boy, do I think I have an interesting story for you guys today. Let's first of all explain one thing. Ripple won the SEC lawsuit. Let's make that really clear. Just so I don't waste anybody's time, let me explain what the video is about. Right now, there are many people saying, oh, an appeal could come, Ripple has to pay $1 billion worth of fines, everything is gonna go freaking down. Just to calm me down a little bit, Jeremy Hogan came in to explain that right now, the summary judgment got filed, everything was cool, right? But the final judgment is not really in just quite yet, as we still have the trial and everything, right? So only after everything is done, both parties have about 2 months to appeal. As of this point, we don't have anything yet, so all they could do is file an interlocutory appeal. But almost never is that granted, only in some very special scenarios. So right now, there's no appeal situation for the SEC, just to make that clear. And Ripple themselves, like we'll talk about later, said it could take another couple of years for that to come on in. And trust me to say that with regards to all these appeals and fines, I've been reading so much, but I'm not worried about any of it all. But, continue on with the video. This is like after. I'm just quickly putting this in. There have been many crypto community members, especially the Bitcoin maximalists, who like to state that Ripple didn't actually win, or that Ripple doesn't have money to pay the SEC for all their fines. Let's make another couple things clear. Ripple, as of this point, has not been ordered to pay anything yet. Right now, there is a discussion about exactly what was done wrong, who exactly is at fault, and how those things work, with regards to only a very specific set of XRP sales. It still means XRP is not a security. It just means Ripple sometimes signed a contract with some companies to sell them XRP at a certain price, and those contracts basically are security contracts, right? Those are investment contracts, but whether or not they have to pay a fine or where the money should come from or how it should work, it's all not been decided. But it did not surprise me that a lot of Bitcoin maximalists came in hot to still deny the reality of XRP winning, because programmatic sales of XRP were not securities, meaning if I transact to you on the open market, not a security. If Ripple sells on an exchange, not a security. If Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO, sells on an exchange, it's not a security. Let's make that absolutely freaking clear, because people are trying to deny that. The SEC is trying to deny it. Bitcoin maxis are trying to deny it. And another point they're making is that Ripple has to pay massive fines, so they have to sell massive amounts of XRP. And once more, I think it's very logical these guys are saying it, because like Anderson said, I feel or fully expected the Bitcoin maxis to have a meltdown and deny reality when XRP was ultimately cleared as a non-security. This is perfectly normal. And like John here said, a lot of these guys were basically on team of, oh, the SEC can never lose. And right now they're saying, well, XRP is clearly a security still. And so they're predicting that the judge will actually overturn or reverse by the Second Circuit. Let's read the full message here before we dive in a little bit deeper. Since Thursday, when the XRP decision by the judge was released, we've witnessed a heightened level of confirmation bias from many people analyzing the Torres decision, including very smart and experienced lawyers. Those who practically guaranteed a complete SEC victory, i.e., the SEC has never lost a crypto case, and XRP is clearly a security crowd, are now predicting Torres will get overturned, reversed by the Second Circuit. It can't be that they simply got it wrong, right? On the other hand, however, some of those cheering and celebrating the Torres decision, including very smart people and experienced lawyers, are describing the decision as appeal-proof. An appellate decision on this case is 2 or 3 years away. Remember, there's a trial scheduled to take place before the appeal could even happen. Let me stop the message right there. There right now, as it stands, are ex-SEC officials. Mr. John Reed Stark is a good example, who is already saying that the XRP triumph may be cut short on the appeal. And there's actually more, like even Mark Fagel here, who's also an ex-SEC official, I believe, is also on that same type of mindset. He says, maybe from a contract law standpoint, but not from a security standpoint. When you buy stock, you don't know who you're buying it from. That the outcome is radically different from an investment contract is illogical. I think there's a good chance the Second Circuit reverses. And even take a look at this title, XRP is on shaky ground. Again, these are 2 ex-SEC members who still stand by the idea that XRP is not really in victory just quite yet. Now let's continue on, right? So which side is right? Crypto Law US will tackle this issue during Tuesday's live stream. Confirmation bias is a real thing. That's why I will have a very special guest helping me provide an objective analysis of Teresa's decision and its likelihood to survive appellate scrutiny. But you have to understand two things. One, like Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, stated, even if an appeal of sorts were to come, it will take years. First of all, the trial has to happen. And that could take a very extremely long time, as you guys might know. And the trial is about whether or not Chris Larson and Brad Garlinghouse aided and abetted in all this. It's not important for XRP being a security, all that stuff. No, XRP is completely in the clear on that department. But after that, you also have to realize the reason it could take a long amount of time is because, as of this point, not as much has changed. So even if the judge were to look at everything again, what do you think would happen? Well, guys, make sure you press that like button right now because this is always exciting. Well, she'd come to the exact same conclusion because unless the circumstances or something changes or there's something new that pops up, which of course can't happen because the SEC exhausted everything already, and arguably because of what's happening in the Coinbase lawsuit with the SEC, the SEC being in such a bad position, where the judge is choosing Coinbase's side time and time again, arguably it's even worse now for the SEC to hold by their point. But understand this, if the SEC were to come back now and try, they'd risk losing that opportunity forever. And what I mean with that is right now that there are no new crypto rules, no new crypto laws, no new victories on the SEC's roster, they'd basically go up against the same facts where the judge would most likely make the exact same decision. But from that point on forward, the SEC can never really try again. So is it logical that the SEC would of course try again? Yeah. But do I think they'd be very successful? No. And that means they right now, the earlier they would start it, have less and less of a chance to ever basically break this curse of theirs of losing an enforcement case. Because right now this was their first major loss. And if they continued and went for an appeal and then got smacked down, but understand this, right now as of this point, if the Congress doesn't act, well, the SEC's enforcements are law, so to speak. Because whatever came out of the Ripple decision now, the SEC versus Ripple decision, that's basically where the law stands because the rules are not clear, but the judge has basically tried to interpret the rules a certain way. So that's the rule because the court has decided that. Unless Congress steps in, and to elaborate, Catherine Hahn said, some non-legal advice musing on the Ripple decision includes two main takeaways. One, the court drew a reasonable line, and overall, it's a good outcome for the industry. For other suits with the SEC, we believe the Supreme Court's major questions doctrine will play a larger role, further strengthening the industry's arguments. And before we head over into reason number 2, if you're looking to trade crypto, make sure you check out BitGet because right now I'm giving away $500, 50 times $10 to the first 50 people who trade over on BitGet. A link for that is down below. Again, this will be paid out in XRP, $10 worth of XRP for every single person who makes a single trade over on BitGet. I think if you want to, you could just use a VPN. I don't think there's KYC over on BitGet. Just hop on over and start trading is what I always say. But of course, do your own due diligence first. But I'm giving everybody $10 for the first 50 people that make a trade. And today is your final day, though. Today's the deadline. If you're not in today, unlucky for you. So make sure it's first come, first serve. Go grab yourself some $10. Reason number 2, like I was saying, I've long said that if Congress doesn't act, then the courts, not the SEC, will have the final word. The system takes time, but I believe more decisions like yesterday's are coming and will provide more guidance. So they worded it a little bit differently, but it's still what I meant earlier. That said, the complexity of the court's reasoning here is more proof that it would be most appropriate for Congress to set the policy for future of this technology in the US. And regarding the SEC and an appeal, anything is possible, but an immediate appeal seems unlikely both because the agency would have to ask the court to split the decision from the portion going to trial, and because I'm skeptical the SEC actually wants legal clarity. Again, that's a point I've made so many times as well. Right now, it seems the SEC's manipulation efforts are to keep crypto as vague as possible. If they really, and think about this, guys, hey, I got those shorts on, you feel me? If they really wanted to make crypto clear, they would have learned it a long time ago. Gary Gensler is not a freaking dumbass. Yes, let's keep it, a little bit calm here. He's not a dumbass, all right? Is he a prick? To us, yes. But I think for the SEC puppet master, so to speak, he's a really nice guy. And I don't think he's dumb in the brain, if you guys get my drift. I don't think he's a stupid ass. because he would have been smacked out a long time ago. He's probably pretty smart. And from that perspective, he knows crypto, even though he didn't hold it before. He knows crypto at least a little bit. He knows the prospects. He knows the technology. And so if he wanted to, he would have definitely just gotten rules fixed. Because why otherwise would you do this? There's only two options. One is because he wants to get as many enforcement actions under his belt, and that's about it. That he just wants to just keep lawsuits going for the roster, because maybe he gets paid per lawsuit or something, I don't know. Or just wants that agenda on freaking Wikipedia, that he's the most, the one with iron fist or something. He wants to go down like that in the history books. And on the opposite side, he might just be getting paid or might be incentivized in some other way to keep things vague. Because again, he's not a stupid guy. If he wanted to, he would have definitely gotten rules in. To continue on, the commission benefits from the current confusion, and losing these issues on appeal would jeopardize its entire enforcement agenda. Because right now, from a certain perspective, they could also always say that they still stand to go on appeal, but if they lose the appeal, it will be over for them. So I'd be surprised if the SEC tried to appeal now, because that would mean that the facts are actually in. There's no more denying it now, and that might be too harsh on the SEC. Now, whether or not Congress touching crypto would be a good thing, that's a different question for a different day. But let me reiterate that to start, like what I said at the start. I don't think anybody can take away from Ripple's victory right now. Even if everywhere on Twitter, everywhere on the internet, they're telling you that, oh, this might happen, that might happen, this could come up. Oh no, you should be fearful because of this. It makes no sense. People are trying to install a certain narrative in your brain that this is all actually bad, or that's all really about to still come crumbling down. No, it will not. Right now, XRP is not a security, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change, because what judge could actually give that decision? Only Judge Therese. But she right now ruled that it's not a security because of the facts. And I don't think she could ever go back on the facts she relied on right now. The only thing that can make her change is if Congress were to come up with a new crypto law that actually makes all these cryptos in such a bad position. It's possible, obviously, but I think that would still be 2025 and onward. Or if the SEC now goes on a massive rampage, sues almost every single crypto out there, wins a ton of them, and then comes back to haunt XRP with more legal basis now from all these other cases. That's also possible. But again, that would take another couple of years, as all these cases would have to go into discovery first, and the discovery on its own will probably take another year, and then from there on forward. So if you're worrying about an appeal, you're worrying about the decision being reversed, like all these guys are trying to tell you over on Twitter. I wouldn't worry about that too much. But hey, if something changes or if I'm completely wrong, let me know in the comments section down below. I'll surely be able to report on all my findings as I read the comments and I read people talking about it over on Twitter. All the lawyers' input, I always take a good look. As I said before, make sure you've got the notification bell on for in case something crazy happens, or I've got a crazy update for you guys. Right now, it's essential to have your notification bell on, because what if the SEC does do something crazy? What if another lawsuit pops up? What if something happens in that field? You want to be notified. You can always click on the video, and if you don't find it interesting, just skip it. But I always say it's better to have the option to be there when the news drops than to be too late. And that's about it.